Yep, we are good. Yeah, man. But last night, last night was one of the ones, man.
Yeah, one of them ones last night, the old dogs had a few tricks up the sleeve. You look at it, playoff games and NCAA tournament games, especially when they're close, come a lot of times it's execution. And if you look at the last two, three possessions for Memphis, didn't execute, couldn't get the ball in bounds, and Golden State with just enough know-how, just enough savvy to slip past, and now that creates a really interesting matchup. I think there are a lot of good matchups in this first round, but this Houston Golden State first round is not a normal 2 versus 7. You have Houston with the youth, the athleticism, they play really tough, they're a great defense against the old dogs. It's kind of similar to when you used to go to the gym, whether it's your YMCA, your LA Fitness, or even for those of us old enough who went outside, and you playing against the old heads at the park or the old heads at the gym. And we gonna find out, is it the young men's turn, or does Golden State got one last run? And then I will tell you this. I don't think they're gonna win the series because I think Boston is the better team. Orlando has the type of team that could make it could be an annoying 4-1 with Boston. Like Boston beats them 4-1. You're like, man, Boston handled Orlando. Not necessarily. Orlando has the size on the perimeter, the length. Again, like a Houston, they play really tough to at least bother Boston for a half each game. So, but let's get into it, man. 94 feet of life, basketball for the people, by the people. This is the NBA playoff preview. We got the Bulls and the Heat going on in the background to see who goes to the eighth seed game. Death, taxes, Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta in the play-in. That's kind of how it goes over the last couple of years. We got a full house. Trav is in the building. Jay Ham is in the building. They're not guests. They're not even friends of the program. These are our brothers, 94 Feet of Life founder, MJ, Coach Les. Yes, we must start it off. Everybody raise your orchestra sticks and salute the maestro, Maestro Malone, aka Dr. Lee from Drumline. Fellas, let's
Oh,
go. First of all, Trav, that was. If you're not in the Facebook group, what are you doing? 94 Feet of Life. Trav, just give the people a quick, real synopsis of why you posted that today and what's the genesis of it and what the points you were trying to prove to everybody.
it's all in our archives. About 4 or 5 years, 2021, 2020, 2021. It's all in our archives that I've been saying all along that everybody think that I'm just like this Jimmy Butler hater. No, I don't hate the guy. I just don't like the fact that you're trying to make him the man and he really plays better when he's not the man. Again, he's not the man, but he plays better when he's not the man because more than likely, you're not going to have your best defender on him. And he owns matchups like that because he plays so much under himself with 2 feet. He's going to either draw the foul, either make an easy bucket for himself, or he's doing something creative to get others involved and make them even better for him to.
And that's really because people get annoyed and rattled with the glorified role player part of it.
Sorry about that. But yeah, it's just the fact that he plays better. He plays better that way. Regardless of what anybody says. I mean, y'all get mad. I mean, y'all get mad when I tell you this, but when it comes from the horse's mouth, what can you say now? I've been saying this for 4 years. He said it right then last night. Now, what is gonna be? That was the whole point of me doing my 8-minute live last night, just to remind the people that I just don't say bullshit just to be saying bullshit. I say shit because I have shit to back it up.
And so let's start in the West, and we're gonna start with that series. Houston is the 2, Golden State is the 7. This is just as I just said, Houston experience. Coach MJ with this young Rockets team, who's gone from not even a play-in team last year to now moving to a 2 seed. Is it a case of playing with house money, or is there real pressure on this young team who has not been there before?
It's a case of Emi Udoka. I mean, when are we going to just look at this dude and finally realize that he's cracked the code? He did it with Boston. Boston around December, January, they were a 10th seed. After the All-Star break, put together, made a run, made it all the way to the finals. Just happened to lose to Golden State, the Iron. Houston, we didn't know if they was going to be in the playoffs or not. They're like, young team, they fight. Yeah, good story, cool story. Probably end up in probably one more piece away, blah, 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 blah. After the All-Star break, made a run. Now they're a 2 seed. At some point, we got to start connecting the dots with certain things, because I don't think, unless ESPN tell you or a major sports network tell you, y'all not going to look at it. So it's up to us to say it first. So for ESPN to steal it from us and then say it, and then it's all like, just this big vibrant moment. Neither here nor there. But no, it's Udoka. He's figured out the blueprint to play in today's game. You have 3 athletes that can guard multiple positions. You have a playmaker who can get a shot off anytime he wants, no matter what the defense. And you have a big that can stretch the floor and make plays from a playmaker standpoint, meaning make the right pass, win this one-on-one matchup, do it from a skill standpoint. It's the same thing. When Udoka was at Boston, he had Horford. Now you got Seguin. When he was at Boston, he had Jason Tatum. Now you got Jalen Green. When he was at Boston, he had Marcus Smart. Now you got Dillon Brooks. When he was at Boston, he had Jaylen Brown, an athletic freak of nature that could defend, but, a little rough around the edges offensively, but still good enough to be able to make plays and be like, oh, my God, what is that? Now you got Amen Thompson. Mm-hmm. It's all right in front of us. So with Houston, no, this is not anything surprising. This is Emi Udoka figuring out the pieces that he needs to be able to compete in the NBA at a high level, and he's doing it no matter what the age bracket is. It don't matter. He's like, just give me my pieces and I can play chess.
Absolutely. Going over to, on that same side of the bracket, the Lakers in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota looked, I'm not going to say dead in the water, but they were in trouble about 3 weeks ago. And they have caught some life over the last 3 weeks. I think Julius Randle, is finally sort of gotten healthier, more comfortable in the offense. Coach Les, they go to the Lakers, who, credit where it's due. 50-win team, We know we talked about the trade of the century. Where I think the size is still a problem for the Lakers. And maybe it doesn't rear its head here. But is there a case for Minnesota to maybe win 2 games? Maybe what do you think?
Um, I think defensively, I think the Timberwolves, their record doesn't show it, of course, just because. But I mean, the 3 and the 6 seed weren't that far off from each other anyway. I think it was like a
True.
couple games in between two. So I think both teams are evenly matched. I think though, like 3-point shooting will be the deciding factor in this series. Whoever can shoot the 3 ball better. That's what I think it comes down to. Um, I also would like to see how the Lakers guard this series, because that's going to tell a lot of what that's going to be a great indicator of how, because I don't see them guarding that well in a 7-game series. But as we know, Luka Doncic has been exposed in pick and roll situations in the playoffs. So it's kind of like, they just kind of pick at him. But I will say I would like to see how that mix of, how well they play defensively and just how the Timberwolves, if they can keep this going. I think it's a possibility they can probably win the series. But if they do, it'll be 7. But I just want to see how these first two games in LA go.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that. I would like to see the coverage, the defensive coverage from the Lakers, because as you know, in the playoffs, the court shrinks, and I just want the court shrinks, and I think I don't think you can just 2-man your way through a series with the Timberwolves. I don't think that can happen. I don't think you can just LeBron, Luka your way through this series with them.
I think the interesting you talk about Les, how they decide to cover it. This is where I think we're gonna see a little bit of sort of the next evolution for Anthony Edwards, because the Lakers really don't have anybody who can cover him on the perimeter. There's not a lot of people in the NBA who have a lot of people who can cover on the perimeter. The Lakers definitely don't have it.
They do now.
So it becomes interesting, and I'm gonna bring Ham into this because Ham, as he likes to call it, comic book BS. Does Anthony Edwards get caught into, Austin Reeves and them can't guard me, so I'm going to take 25, 30 shots, and then Randall gets, which we saw happen in the regular season, where Julius Randle doesn't get touches. Naz Reid doesn't get touches because Ant is like, well, I got the matchup, so I'm going to just take it. So, Ham, is there a scenario where Minnesota, Les has talked about what he thinks, is there a scenario Minnesota beats the Lakers besides something wild happening like a LeBron or a Luka injury?
Nah. It'll be fun. I mean, at the same time while I'm saying nah, you look around, the motherfuckers will go up 3-1. But I don't think that'll be the case either. But Ant's just he's that kind of star, what I'm saying, to where the comic book bullshit can be warranted with him because he's just one of them. Now, he's not going to have a lot of success probably doing the comic book bullshit because it's just the last motherfucker you want to get caught in a comic book bullshit war with is even a 40-year-old LeBron. It's just don't. you won that one last year with KD. Okay, you know what I'm saying. But then KD got bad juju. He played for the Suns. You know what I'm saying. And shit ain't cool in Phoenix like that. So this shit's different. But that might be the most entertaining series simply because it's the dynamic of Ant on one side, Luka and LeBron on the other. You know, but I'm not doing that Hulk ass shit that Shannon Sharp, with the rhyme and everything. Shut up. You watch football, dog. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're a groupie. You know what I'm saying? But Lakers at about 6 in that one. I'll go ahead and get my early prediction on that. We'll get 6 for entertainment purposes.
Now, speaking of comic book BS, this leads to what I think is going to be the series of the first round. And that's Denver and the Clippers.
Woo.
If you look at, so when we talk about comic book BS in a good way, it's 15 in Denver. The most comic bookish of comic book characters right now in the league is him. Top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. It's never happened in the history of the league. They fired a coach 2 weeks before the season started. And since they fired a coach, short sample size, they won 3 in a row. You then have on the other side the Clippers, who, knock on wood, Kawhi is healthy. James Harden has quietly had a really good season, has played really, really well. Norman Powell has kind of slid back into his rightful place as the third option. And Clippers have the one guy, I think, and let me say this clear. He will not shut Jokic down. He won't even really slow him down. But he's the one guy who can probably play Jokic straight up without help. And that's Zubac. I think I've gone back and forth on this one. One day is Clippers in 7. Another day is Denver in 6. What do y'all think? Because I think this is probably this is a true 4-5. This is about as even as you're gonna get as far as a matchup.
Who going first, y'all?
Whoever won it.
You know what? It's so silent, we don't know.
You know what? I for some reason I gotta go with the Clippers. I'm going with the Clippers on the strength that you know what I seen the other night? Something I ain't seen since I don't think I've seen in 14 years. I seen Kawhi with a legitimate smile on his face.
Yeah.
He was at the San Diego Padres game with his son, and Kawhi smiled. Kawhi looked happy.
Joyful.
Kawhi has looked happy playing basketball this year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, AI has been developed.
And Kawhi has looked happy just playing basketball. Like they had a picture with the team. They was doing some bonding or whatever. Kawhi looked like he was like he looked happy. He looked happy playing basketball. He looked like you know what? I'm back. I want to do this. We got a chance. I mean, James Harden is, I don't know what James Harden is doing, but he's super locked in. Like Norman Powell, it's not that much drama going on with the Clippers this year.
Right.
They were supposed to be bad. They were supposed to be bad this year. Kawhi not playing, Paul George gone. You got to put all your hopes in James Harden. And is Norman Powell, can he step? Like, we talking about Norman Powell was almost an all-star this year.
Yes, sir.
People argued that he got snubbed. Yeah, he should have been in the All-Star game, especially, you know what, I ain't gonna get into that, but he should have been in addition to the All-Star game. But anywho, um, I feel like the Clippers, and I mean, you got Ty Lue on that sideline with championship pedigree. He
Yeah.
got championship pedigree as a player, as an assistant coach,
Mhm.
as a head coach.
Coach, right?
You know, he's led them to the conference finals. No coach in the Clipper history has ever done that. Like, you know how they said he been here before. Like, I knew has been
Yeah.
here before.
Yeah.
That's that's really the big advantage that the Clippers have over the Nuggets because the interim for the Nuggets, not saying he's bad, and I think he's Rick Adelman's son. I think so. I don't know. I don't think it matters at
Yeah,
this.
he is. He
Yeah, I
is.
don't. Rick, you know, son, nephew, uh, third cousin. Clippers in 6.
Clippers and six. MJ,
That's
what
right.
you think?
All right. Didn't Jokic have a 60-point triple double or something like that?
And a loss.
In
Yes.
love, yeah.
I was about to ask if they win the game.
No.
That's what I think. If you
Here's what
get
happened.
if you get a 60-point triple double and you still lose, I
It's
can't.
hard to do.
I really can't trust your team to win 4 games against a team that has more weapons than you. It's pretty simple. You know, in addition, I'm not even going to include like the additional drama of, you know, firing your coach 3 weeks prior and your general manager firing both. I'm not going to even include that. Why even? There's no point. It's just as of right now, with or without Kawhi, the Clippers can get it done because I think that they're playing better as a team. And unfortunately for Denver, it's really time to, you know, start really looking deep into your quote unquote second and third option and seeing if it's time. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray just keep getting injured, but after a while, you just got to just really take a long look and be like, okay.
Michael, go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah, and it sucks for Jamal Murray because
It
it's
does.
like he's like he's like no prop. Like you never hear bad stuff about Jamal Murray. Like you don't like he's taking a role. He's been snubbed. He's been on the back burner, and he just comes out and he's still a professional. He tries to work his way back into shape every time. Like he comes back ready to play every time he gets hurt, and it's unfortunate.
yeah,
And honestly, if we're being honest, when they won in 2023, a lot of things fell
say
in
it,
their favor.
Fails in a way.
say it.
That's it. Like, I mean, it's even hard. Like, I don't even like we know they won, but that's not something I'm like, oh yeah, you know, the Nuggets champions. Like, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot.
Real talk.
And you know what's frustrating about the Nuggets? And to me, they have one of the most 5 frustrating players in the NBA. And Trav and Ham living down North North Mississippi, excuse me, Memphis area know all about Rudy Gay. Remember how we just kind of waited for Rudy Gay to just really just bust out. This is the year Rudy Gay gonna throw up 23, 7-4, 23, 7-5. We waited and it never happened. That's where I'm at with Michael Porter Jr.
Mhm.
It's just not gonna happen.
Mhm.
Third option.
For whatever it is, but not even the third option thing. When you just kind of content to just hang out in the corner, like he's too talented for what he does. And I don't know if that's a function of the system, whatever it is.
Ah,
It's too many Michael Porter 5 for 10, 15-point nights. Okay. All right, 5 for 10, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, 4 free throws. I could write his box score tonight, and I guarantee you that's gonna be the box score at least 3 times.
Hey, he hooped like a keto diet.
You know, you want to know something. You want to know something that y'all know. I don't hate nobody. I just very much dislike things.
Uh-oh. This is
One
about to get
thing that
dangerous.
I very much dislike, and I know y'all will agree with this, when championship teams get rid of people or let people go.
Bruce Brown, KCP.
Yeah. And the thing, and sometimes go ahead, finish because I got something.
Yeah, because we all want to go in on that. That's why we just
It bothers me because just run it back. Run it back. Run it back. I mean, yeah, money talks. True. Money talks. But this is where that hooper inside of you, that's where that heart comes in, that like, I'm on the top of this mountain. And if I had the same guys that I had it this year, I'm gonna get there again.
Or you spend money to replace those guys. They've gone the draft route with
They ain't working.
Ben Braun,
Not it.
Strouder, Peyton Watson.
It's not it.
And I think what they've done is they said Jokic is so great. We'll just put anything around him.
Right, and that
Just put anything
work.
around him, it won't matter.
And this is the thing, too. I think Bron has the ability to be a Bruce Brown, but it took Bruce Brown some time to get there.
Yeah.
And when you win a championship, like they all say, like all the greats say, man, it becomes addictive. You want to win another one.
Mhm.
Like I forgot they won so bad. I forgot who they beat.
You know who they beat. The only team to get out to play in and go to the final. So yeah, that's why it wasn't memorable.
Yeah, I mean, like you beat, and everybody got hurt in that playoff. So
On the
like,
East side,
so
sure
this
did.
is my question. This is my question. If that doesn't happen in 20, when injuries don't occur, because I think there was someone every round they faced got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think AD went down, and when they played the Lakers, like,
Yep.
I'm like, was the Mike firing? Was the Mike Malone firing like supposed to happen after that season?
Well,
They won in 23. 24, they didn't get back. He just got fired this year. So did the championship save him a year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, championship buys you some time.
Like, did that champion was if they didn't win, would they have been looking for a new coach that summer?
Probably.
Jay, go ahead.
Well, let's keep it a stack though. Since 2019, we've seen more NBA Finals coaches get fired than we have in any other. I don't even think we've had any other championship level coaches get fired in sports. That many in that kind of a cluster in that period. And it's speaking to a lot of things. The turmoil that you can have just within the business side of trying to win a championship, to where we saw Bud pretty much got cut off, a year or two after they won?
Right.
Mike Malone, 2 years or so after that. Frank Vogel didn't last long. Nick Nurse had a little time, you know what I'm saying, where cats had to move on and retire and, just to blow it up. But all these dudes getting replaced. It's almost kind of like the same thing about that window to win really even being short. And we got some dumb motherfuckers calling shots in the front office that ultimately get exposed as being dumb motherfuckers.
Or just gamblers.
And this is the crazy thing about it is, like, everybody goes at the GMs and the GM, the GM, the GM, the GM, the GM, the GM, right? But the GM has a boss they answer to.
Yeah.
And any decision that is made that comes from a GM, that's from the person that's signing the checks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's from a person that clearly a bottom line isn't the bottom line isn't what they want to see.
Yeah.
So okay, what are we gonna do? Like it's like, all right, well, we ain't winning and we made this much in 23 when we won. Or in 24, we here. And then so now the GM is sitting there like, hey man, this, I'm gonna get you the pieces. This is what I need to win. Like you let Bruce Brown go, you let KCP go. You look over in Phoenix, you gave up a whole lot to go get a guy that has a no trade clause that will have the richest buyout in the history of sports if you leave away from him I mean, and I hate to sound like this, and this might sound bad, but Bradley Beal has the Phoenix Suns in the 360 deal. He's
Yeah.
like Bradley Beal has the Phoenix Suns in a death row Suge Knight contract.
Yeah.
Like they're like we're about to look at the Suns like back in the early like after Nash and Stoudemire. They about to go through that again.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Shout out to Bradley.
Phoenix is already a hot place.
Mhm.
They are wasting prime. They are wasting Devin Booker's prime years. I'm sorry to go off on another tangent, but like when we look at it, like could Denver be in this situation? Could we be talking about Denver like this next year?
Denver, I think the only reason I say Denver won't be, it'll be bad, but it won't be that bad is because they got the comic book. And
I mean,
I
the
think
comic book could get you a game.
the comic book is worth a game. And I think also to Les's bigger picture point, I think having him guarantees you make the playoffs. And as MJ always talks about your bottom line and the revenue, they got him, so they make the playoffs pretty much every year. But it won't be what it was.
Because now we talking 4 seed now because when they won it they were what a 2.
Yeah, they'll be a 4 to 6 seed forever until Jokic decides to leave. They'll be in the spot as we flip conferences. They will be in the spot Milwaukee's in right now, where
It's the same thing.
they got Giannis. So because they got Giannis, we'll never be bad. We can never tank even if we wanted to because we got Giannis.
Got Giannis.
And they'll get that same jank ass blame from people when they don't go beyond that, just being that playoff participant.
What's the
every year.
common denominator?
Thank you.
No, I'm about to tell you the common denominator. We just talked about Giannis in Milwaukee. We just talked about Jokic in Denver. I could bring you another one. Dirk in Dallas after he won.
Yeah.
Common denominator, with the exception of Dallas is a little different. But the common denominator is small mid-market teams. Nobody trying to go to Denver. Nobody trying to go to Milwaukee.
But the dudes
We didn't talk about that before.
So flipping this over to the East, because I think that might be a great conversation. We kind of get to the offseason about how you survive as a mid-market size squad. But flipping to the East, let's start right there with Giannis and Indiana. I think this is a case, especially if Dame Lillard is out or just not Dame Lillard. Even though it says 4 or 5 on paper, I think Indiana gets them out of there in 5. I don't think that. I'll give them a gentleman's sweep. Indiana has too much firepower. They play the game too fast for what Milwaukee can do, and there's just not enough bullets beside Giannis for Milwaukee. It's just they outmanned.
So you mean to tell me, Big Shot, you not counting on my guy Penthouse Pat Connaughton to go off for 43 like he did on Sunday?
Shout out Penthouse Pat, but nah, man. I think between Siakam, Tyrese, and Indiana just seems to just find dudes to just come in and drop 20.
Yeah.
They just find guys, whether it's Matherin, it's Miles Turner, it's TJ McConnell, it's Nimhard, it's
Buddy with the Republican mustache.
yeah, they just find people. They just find people. So I got Indiana in a smooth 5.
Yeah, like you said about Jokic, we just said about Giannis too. The comic book will at least get you one.
Yeah, comic book get you one. Giannis good for a 49, 19.
Go get you one good home game. One good one. Game 4 or game 3 or game 4. They're gonna give one.
Right.
Give one.
Now, the series I do want to talk about. Shout out to our main man Matthew Gordon. I'm gonna turn on my Young Jeezy versus boys. And Les know this one because Les always crack up at this one. I tell you what. Let me tell you something. Especially if Brunson is not fully up to speed. This is if you are a contender or fancy yourself a contender for a title, which the Knicks I still think they are. This is an awful first round matchup if you're a contender. Because at worst, this is going to take a lot longer than it's supposed to. And Detroit is feisty. They will actually fight thee. And they got the guy at the end of the game, when the shot clock goes down, they got the guy on the floor can't nobody doing as good a defender as Hart is, as good as defenders and Nobi is. There is not they don't have an answer.
Young Cade.
Hey, Detroit, do the right thing. Extend JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah, do that too.
Bounce from team to team for him to only just keep making the playoffs with teams that ain't supposed to make the playoffs. Extend that man.
I think JB got a good deal.
Thank you.
This is first
Keep
year.
him. Keep him.
This is first year.
I don't care. Keep him.
You know what, MJ? Bickerstaff finally got a chance to put somebody in a hot seat like they done him for years. Because I'm telling you one thing, if the Knicks lose this series, Tibbs got to go. James Dolan, you may have to go too.
Look at Le's face.
This is the NBA equivalent.
Dolan gonna go on the team.
I don't care. Let somebody else get their team. Dolan got
Detroit is the NBA equivalent of the 30-win 12 seed.
That's a great comparison, actually.
Drake.
They the motherfuckers that you don't want to see right now.
Drake.
Straight up.
Drake this year. Drake, yeah.
Like for everything Big Shot said, they tough. They will fight you. They down to pay. They down to pay the fine. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, I don't know if they got Mahorn and Lane Beard contributing to the fund or whatever, just for old time's sake, but they got that action, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trajan Langdon. That's who got that culture.
Shout out Trajan. Yeah.
Whole deal, you know what I'm saying? So
he went and got JB. When JB took over, said, man, we ain't wearing no jewelry in this month. We ain't wearing like what y'all take that off, man. Ain't coming
I'm dead serious though. Detroit can change the Knicks culture if they take this from them.
And you want to know something? And
say it. I know what you're about to say. Say it. Well,
and this is the thing the Knicks did because they put all their chips in. they traded away what they didn't have for so long, and that was draft picks.
Draft picks. Daddies.
They doubled down. They said we going all in to get to be a contender and win a championship. And if they have to it's not only everybody gonna be gone.
And we about to find out what happened when that shit when it didn't work.
They
From a
doubled down.
large market
They
perspective.
decided to double down on the Nova Knicks.
You know what this felt like? Cover your ears, Les.
Just say it.
It feels like the Chicago Bulls Philadelphia 76ers series when Rose went down.
We don't speak of that.
I told you cover your ears. But it's not because of D Rose. It's because who was the coach? Who was
It's
the coach?
Tibbs. It's
But
Tibbs.
the only thing about it is though, like we just can't talk about that game. Can't
That's what I
that
told you.
changed basketball history as we know it.
But
But-
what is Trav saying?
But what Travis saying is correct, because if you look at the Knicks,
Changing the culture. It's changing the whole thing.
we can sit here and talk about whatever, but playing 5 guys 35 minutes a night all regular season is going to catch up at some point.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to like turn it off. And I mean,
You don't know how to.
Mikal Bridges had a record going. I don't even did he still get it? Did
He got the
Yeah, he
record,
played 82. He played
Earl.
82.
Legally blind.
but you look at Detroit with Cade, Malik Beasley, Duran.
They got young legs.
They got young legs, and they also got a mix. They also got older guys who've been here. For whatever you want to say about Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr., they've been down this road before.
Mhm.
Tobias Harris and Norman Powell did what Paul George didn't do. But go ahead.
No, you're right. Right.
I want to give a shout out to Tobias Harris because that motherfucker was gonna be good for at least 10 points on the parlay nightly.
I already told
He was going.
Look, I already told y'all what Tobias was. Like, y'all thought I was trolling the man when I called him
Hey,
big.
I stayed in that
that's
framework. I said, man, he gonna give me that guaranteed 10 every night, regardless of how I put him on the parlay, whether it's the same game, John, or I got him in the parlay X where he spread it out. He doing his part. I give him that.
I still got the list to this day. Tobias Harris started the middies of mid tiers ever.
He is, but you know what he is though? On that type of team, he's perfect.
Exactly.
Tobias Harris is the LeBron James of mid.
Yes.
He's mid, but he also can settle you down.
Mhm.
So with a bunch of dudes that's kind of young and wild, Tobias, the Tim Hardaway Juniors, the Malik Beatties of the world, they kind of even you out. And the Knicks better not split them first 2 games in the Garden.
Tobias Harris is Chick-fil-A mac and cheese.
Reliable.
It's not Thanksgiving's mac and cheese, but it's also a craft.
It's consistent. You know what you're getting.
It's not
You know
yet.
exactly what you're getting.
Man.
It's
It's
not your auntie mac and cheese.
No,
Nope.
But it's not the mac and cheese you get in the cafeteria at school either.
exactly.
Yeah, man.
It's not baby
Cub
step.
solid.
They'll do.
Cub was solid for the 10, 3, and 3 every night.
Hey, man.
Every
Brian, you
night,
know
10, 3, and 3.
And
Brian,
parlay
you know
talk.
what's going on.
Oh,
So in the
And
East,
parlay talk.
so in the East, fellas, is there any scenario that is not Cleveland, Boston in the East Finals?
I think it's a collision. I think it's a collision course for the 1 and the 2 seeds to meet in the East.
it's gonna be chalk, like the NCAA tournament.
I think so too. I'm with you too.
And the thing that And there's two things I want to say right here. Jaylen Brown's health is a concern
Mm-hmm.
as you go deeper into these playoffs. Because I think whoever they play in that 1-8, it's a sweep.
Yeah, that's gonna be quick. Yeah, that's
That's a
gonna be.
sweep. That's a sweep. I wish it was back to 5-7-7-7. I wish it was back there where we could get 3-game sweeps and get them the fuck out of here. But Jaylen Brown knee is a concern for me as the playoffs go. Also, I would love to see Cleveland in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I would love to see Cleveland in the NBA Finals.
Let me tell you, a Cleveland championship.
I would love to.
A Cleveland versus Oklahoma City Finals is what I'm really kind of rooting for.
I would love to see that. And
Because
SGA, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Slips green always. Serving gratitude always. Selling good astronomically.
Hey.
But if the Cleveland Cavaliers can win the NBA Finals, oh my. Does Dan Gilbert still own the team?
Yes.
Oh.
it's the narratives are crazy if Cleveland wins.
And I'm gonna tell you this, because the Heat have made the NBA Finals twice.
Yeah.
Okay, you want an added element? You want an extra added element of the drama for it? Let
Go
the
ahead.
Lakers at the West to do it.
Let me tell you something. If Cleveland beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals, we might have to close 94 for a week.
If I put it like this, if Cleveland beats the Lakers in the NBA Finals, someone is going to have to literally snatch my phone and throw it in the river behind me.
Yep.
That's what's gonna have to happen.
You're not in a position. No, you're not.
Yeah, you got.
They're going to have to. They are going to have to snatch my phone.
If Cleveland beats the Lakers in the finals, because we can't give up too much game on the air, but you definitely need to take your phone somewhere.
I can. It would be.
You definitely take your phone.
So let's start there, because I'm gonna say something that has something to do with that, but does not. I told Trav this. What if the person that y'all want to give the GOAT is the wrong person y'all giving the GOAT to in this era? I personally think, let me just say it, because everybody got an opinion on this, so let me just say it. I personally think it's Jordan and Curry right now.
I'm gonna tell you this, MJ. If Golden State finds a way,
I'm saying right now, I don't care if they don't win. I don't care.
You know what I'm saying? No, I hear you. But if Golden State finds a way to win this whole thing,
bruh,
it gets, again, and we are not, I'm kind of on the ham mode. The tier ranking of players, putting guys in tiers. Curry find a way to win this one, buddy. It's him and Mike to my.
That's what he talking about.
That's it. It's him and Mike.
Here's the reason why I'm saying this: that without him, without this win, because if you really just look at the career,
Yeah.
Why is Jordan Jordan? He took a portion of basketball and made it worth more than what it was because of a momentum shift, the dunk. Curry did the same thing with the three. And no matter how many people dunk, it still didn't hit the same as a Jordan dunk. No matter how many people shoot that logo three, it still don't hit the same as Curry's three. It just doesn't. That is a weapon in itself. Y'all have gave this man 4 different small forwards. It's about to be
literally
It's about to
4
be
different
4.
small forwards.
He already won with 3 different ones.
That man did what?
If he already won with 3 different ones, and he didn't win with just all-star forwards. Do I gotta? Nah, I ain't gonna even go there. But KD was the all-star, yeah. He won with Andre Iguodala and he won with Andrew Wiggins. Was anybody talking about Andrew Wiggins before or after? Have y'all said a word about Andrew Wiggins since 2022?
Actually, it's 4 small forwards.
You can have Harrison Barnes in that rotation. So, yeah, there's your 4. So, it poses the question. Love KD to death. KD is an incredible player. But KD has been looking for what he had at Golden State since, and he's not even making the playoffs, or he's getting swept first round.
Coach B said this. Shout out to our man Barry Milburn. Coach B said this a couple days ago.
And again, I just like basketball. I think it's a team game, but y'all want to talk about this. I'm just saying, if y'all simply are going to talk about this, stop not looking at this dude's resume, because the resume that what y'all want Jimmy Butler to be, what y'all want LeBron to be, Steph Curry already is right now.
But and speaking of narratives, and I know Ham is a historian. What if? But look at the 2 teams that's the 2-1 seeds. What if this is a Cleveland, Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City wins this?
Oh,
If you look at Oklahoma, if you look at the setup,
yes,
with that whole, like, we talked about this with Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is the only team that can go to the playoffs and don't shorten their rotation. They can play the same rotation they played in January in the playoffs. If Oklahoma City wins this with all the stuff that they got and the 9,000 first round picks or whatever the hell it is that they got, they could win the chip this year, and then they can say we can either let this thing grow and develop, or they could say, you know what? You like to shout out. I did that on purpose. That was on purpose.
Oh God.
They could growth and develop that thing, or they could be the biggest player in the history of the trade market. Because they'll have the pieces, they'll have the picks, the cap space, and the star that people will want to play with.
Dude, Sam Presti fax machine will go crazy if they win.
He gonna need 8 fax machines.
You realize how long the list of folks that they gonna have to thank if they ask to win that job? They're gonna have to thank David Griffin. They're gonna have to thank the folks with the Clippers. They're gonna have to thank everybody that was involved in accumulating all that work.
Dude, thank you. You know what? I'm finna tell you, the person that they're going to have to thank is James Harden.
Well, you got to go back a decade or so for that, because James Harden.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to do. That's like a Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah,
that's like a Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we gonna chronicle the history and how we got there. Just on the night that we won the job, we gonna run it back real quick just to show y'all how we fucked up one decade and we came back. It took us some time, but we swept back around and we accumulated the world, and where we ain't just had 3 of them this time, y'all. We had 3 of them, and then we had another 3 that was in the 6th grade when we put this thing together.
If it's possible, is it possible to induct a trade into the Hall of Fame?
It should
might be inducted.
I say this,
Sam Presti is good at it.
Presti is a Hall of Famer. He finally figured out, and it's funny because we were just talking about mid-market tapes. He figured out the way to do it. He like, look, if I do get a superstar, they probably not gonna say I'm gonna lose them to a small market team. I'm tired of having to pick perfect. So just give me as many picks as I possibly can to where I triple my failures.
Yeah.
So if I pick one wrong, so fucking what? I get to pick 2 more.
MJ, and you so right, because he just keeps give me as many shots at it as I can get.
Right. It might be a second rounder, it might be a first rounder. He don't care.
He just wants, give me a pick. Give me a pick.
Give me a pick.
Dude, it all started again. It all started 2012, 2013.
But then to Les's point, the
Call him
narrative.
Summer or Sam.
But to Les's narrative that we not gonna let him run with because we got bigger fish to fry, so we not gonna let him run it. We'll run it in for him on his behalf. Cleveland winning it, you get life after LeBron, and you get we're the mid-major market that swung big for Donovan Mitchell. Gave up the house for Donovan Mitchell. Like, people can say what they want to about the SGA trade. That was no small package they gave up for Donovan Mitchell. And to me, that's a lesson for the mid-majors. Sometimes you gotta take a swing. You got to. Like Toronto, they took the swing on Kawhi. They knew that man wasn't gonna stay. Take a swing anyway.
Hit a grand slam.
Take a swing. Donovan Mitchell, a guy like Evan Mobley, like Cleveland has a similar route. They've drafted really well.
Langdon was there when they drafted them, by the way. Just putting it out there. Go ahead.
You said who?
Langdon was there when those people got drafted. Just putting that out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, he sure was.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want to know something? Langdon left. Langdon was in New Orleans.
Yes. Yes.
And he left.
We giving flowers today. Real life flowers. We giving real life flowers. Because there's a lot of brothers here that's really making things shake. And y'all not talking about it. If you connect the dots and if you look deep enough, those dots lead to one person or another person that y'all just refuse to talk about. That's why we're here for.
That's tough. It's tough. I forgot Langdon was in Cleveland. He sure was.
Yes.
That's where he got his start, and then he went to
Hoop there. He started there.
No. He went Pelicans to Cleveland.
He was Pelicans, Cleveland, Detroit.
That's why Jay Bickerstaff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All making sense.
All makes sense.
Full circle.
So, fellas, real quick, rapid fire, just around the court. We like to close things out with some fun talk. Who gets traded first? I'll put this on the parlay, Lord. Who gets traded first? Kevin Durant with Zion.
You know what? I think it will be you know what? I think it'll be Zion because there's some maneuvering that has to be done to get Kevin Durant. Because Zion can get traded anywhere. Zion, what I think, how I put it, they probably just want to move on and going to take the best deal for him.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant is you're gonna have so many suitors for Kevin Durant, and there are teams that are playoff teams with draft capital.
That out the germ, man.
Shout out man Jern.
I would less on that one. It probably would be Zion for that reason because he was on non-guaranteed money anyway, right? They reduced his.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So then they got Joe D coming in, Joe Dumars, who he probably really won't, clean slate and a fresh start around. Just I'm gonna keep this cat. CJ, we gonna get your CBA rolling ass up out of her too. You know what I'm saying? So
I think with KD is in a weird position right now because he's right slap in the middle of you put him on a team that could contend, and he's so good that he demands to be the number one option.
He overshadows a lot.
Right? He overshadows, stops a lot of growth with those young guys because you got to give him the ball because he's just that good. Or put him on the team that's already good, and now you want to call him a cupcake again. Yeah. There really ain't no place for KD right now without somebody saying something. I don't care what they say. That's why I'm pretty much like he might as well just go to a big market with some other superstars and rock out because they're going to say something anyway.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, MJ.
This whole noble thing of trying to build your own and should prove a point. Shit,
That's not noble, man. It's not noble. It's
Yeah,
no
I'm
that's
noble.
gonna keep it a bean. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. He more than welcome to come to the bluff.
So, speaking of the bluff, this is a great segue. If this goes like we think it's gonna go, you never know. Memphis gets a first round out. As we're taping this, they've not played their AC game, so we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't have the crystal ball feature, but let's say they win, they get to the AC. What we think happens is Oklahoma City is a 4-1. We obviously know the coach has changed. Does something bigger happen in Memphis if this does not go? If this goes the way we think it goes, as far as the first round out, Ham?
Well, something we discussed on 98.5 FM from 11 to 1 with Johnny Radio, my man Darian Newsom, the producer. Me and Darian discussed this one on the air. He asked, do you trade one of those core three? Of course, he's thinking like, I don't want to trade y'all, but just given the injury history more so than anything, just feel it. He used your logic, Big Shot. Pick up the phone. Let's see, you know what I'm saying? Let's see who was whatever. But it's so much uncertainty because here, I think we got into a situation. Me and MJ talked about this morning, where they finally had to disconnect from the upstairs part and the coaching. The disconnect came to a head. And it didn't happen necessarily when Taylor Jenkins got fired. I think it started to happen when Steven Adams got moved out of the way and they had to fill that void.
Yeah.
And who they really, just my personal opinion, who Taylor probably really wanted was Donovan Clinton. If we're going to do this via draft, I want the kid from UConn. He probably fits more of what we do, what I like to do anyway. Of course, if this is the case, Zach Kleiman's looking at it like, why would we not take the better basketball player? Zach Edey's the better basketball player, but Donovan fits more of what, so you get those calls from upstairs to a coach who really don't necessarily, this ain't the guy that he wanted, but he going to try to make it work. And it kept clashing. Then also you bringing in a new offensive coordinator who really you bringing him in to take Taylor Jenkins' job. Because what you don't want to happen is that Taylor makes a good run this year and you have to justify not firing him just because they got to a conference final and shit like that. And so you got all of this clashing coming back because you lost a whole bunch of your people last year. So now you bringing up the young guys, the G.G. Jacksons, Vincent Williams. But they weren't on the floor with Ja like that last year. So that's the huge adjustment coming back from them. And they had some rough patches. But I'm telling people around town in general, I'm like, y'all got to remember, especially with Gigi, he's 20 years old. All of this is be patient. Even with Zach Edey, it took a few years for Matt Painter and his team and his crew to get him to at least look like a serviceable. Because when dude was a sophomore, this motherfucker ain't in for the league.
He barely played in high school. He barely played at IMG.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
he's been a project.
I would have a really hard time. And this is why I'm not a GM. I don't get paid the big bucks. If you told me Morant, Bane, or Jaren Jackson, I would have a really hard time trading any of them.
Yeah, and I'm saying no to that. Yeah, I'm for the same reason you are.
I would not be thrilled no, I wouldn't be happy to do that.
Well, and so and I told Anthony saying this because I was on his show on 2 different occasions, on episode 5 and on episode 167. Coaches that put in a position where Taylor Jenkins is at, they generally don't last. You know what I'm saying? That first time when you had a young core and crew, I told him that in episode 5. He came back on episode 167 with the stat confirming that it don't fucking work. It don't usually last for those coaches for a lot of reasons. I told him, I'm reading y'all on Twitter, dog. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of the reasons was like a lot of the stuff that y'all was barking about, valid or invalid, it kind of really how it came to a head. And so it got your best player who's already going through a whole lot of stuff internally off the floor, this, that, and the others, got him in a funk because he kind of want to get away from this offense that y'all bringing in and go back to playing the way he was having fun playing. But it's got other guys around kind of stagnant because they want to hoop too.
Right.
Oh, just a big mess. You were 35-16 when you traded Marcus Smart. You ended up with just 48 wins. Beyond that, and you end up playing, and now you got to fight for survival. And check this out: it's people on Twitter on the fan base. They like, yo, because of the Marcus Smart trade, you'll get the conditional draft pick back with the Wizards if you don't make the playoffs. So they looking at getting that pick. They like, yo, they should just fuck it. Well, it's better to take the draft pick than to go get swept by the Thunder. It's like, nah, dog. Go get your dudes that ain't got that playoff experience. Go get them that 4-5 games, whatever it's going to be. Go hoop. The fuck y'all talking about?
And to me, that's a bad idea for them because they're young as it is.
Yeah.
Like they're already a young team. So I don't know.
Ja ain't going for that already. Ja like because he tweaked his ankle last night. Nah, fuck that. I'm playing Friday. Whatever y'all talking about, the answer is I'm playing.
The worst thing you could do for a young team is put them in a position where your organization is telling them it's okay to lose if we're getting a pick for it.
Thank you.
You don't want to, yeah. And Coach Les does this for a living. And I'm sure he could tell you, he said losing becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And once you, and to MJ's point, once you allow that to become a thing with young players,
they gonna look at it as a job. They gonna be like, man, I'm just gonna punch this clock.
bad idea.
They won't be this.
I was going back to that point.
38% 3 and 15 points a game. I'm gonna give them 15 points a game and shoot 38% from 3. Nothing more, nothing less.
In which I was going back to that point with Ja with the whole celebration deal. It's like, it's cool, you know what I'm saying? It got people, it's amped, it's got some popularity to it, but you're really just a cool rebel, and it's the fact of the way you're going about it is not a championship habit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you start talking about, like Les said, losing becomes a habit. We're looking at a crew that's trying to be a championship crew, but they don't exhibit championship habits.
Yeah. I think because we got to think about it. We go back to that. What was that? The 2019 draft when they got Ja.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about trading Zion Williamson. We're talking about Ja Morant name. Kind of, it's creeping up there. You already done traded RJ Barrett. It's kind of like
not for long.
Like everybody
6
like,
years, they could creep it up on them 6 years.
Yeah, it's like, we tried it. I mean, New Orleans really doesn't have much to show with Zion. The Knicks never got it right with RJ Barrett. And now the Grizzlies, like, they were the ones that you held out hope for because they actually looked like they were more they look collectivized. And so but Ja has kind of done things that make them like, dang, man, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't see Ja Morant playing for any other team than the Memphis Grizzlies.
You don't feel like anywhere else would fit.
He can play for Detroit. He'll be great in Detroit.
Yeah, he's literally embodied, and he is enmeshed in the culture in Memphis. He
My
is.
ends.
Like you can't tell me you can't tell me that if somebody said, you know, Josh from South Carolina, I wouldn't believe you.
He was
I
to me.
believe.
He's
I mean, like,
like
nah, he from the Haven.
it's like he to me. He's to Memphis to me what AI was to Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
even though
more than
AI
that,
had other stops, for me, it's always Allen Iverson has a 76er. It's
When they
well, here's the thing. Y'all seen the jersey retirements of both Zebo and Tony Allen, and just how they were embraced. It is no different with 12. It's going to be on another tier with 12 because he was like the first one to really carry that banner as the superstar.
and
Yep.
he was homegrown.
Oh yeah,
He came from somewhere.
homegrown all the
That
way.
came
you
from
know?
somewhere. Like y'all like Memphis helped raise, like he was 20 when he got there.
Yep.
They
I-
raised, like Memphis has raised Ja. Like
He's our little cousin.
yeah,
He's
they
basically the
raised
Basically.
like Memphis raised them like as a youngin. You know what I'm saying? It's like they like Philly the same thing. Like Ronnie was saying, AI was 20.
Yeah,
We got to Philly.
We got to Philadelphia.
They raised them.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's the
these
same
people
thing.
that they raise, these dudes get younger, they raise them. Like and he's
And you
allowed,
know what?
he allowed it. He didn't fight it. He allowed it. He embraced it.
Mm-hmm.
And the love part about it, Les, is that you don't understand this thoroughly too. As a city, we accept all his bullshit.
But you know what? You know what? They accept it. They accept it, but they don't really treasure it until it's gone. That's the problem. That's the problem with Memphis
Right.
sports
Hey, bro,
to this date.
that
That's
is
so
right.
real.
I'm gonna tell you something real on wax because I say this all the time. The reason why Jordan is the GOAT because he knew when to leave. Before you could get tired of him, he retired.
You mentioned that so many times before. You know what I'm saying? When
Not
you
that last
exit
time.
has what to do with your legacy.
But
We also
he
said
did
the
it
same
so
thing.
smooth that we don't even talk about the Wizards. But go ahead. We don't even
Well, we
talk
said
about
the same thing
You
about
know-
Nick Saban too. When Nick
You-
Saban left, it was like right time.
You know who I would love for Memphis to get? And I think if you look at some of the great guards, young guards, there's always the vet. Stephen Curry had Jared Jack. Damian Lillard had Mo Williams.
Yep.
Like there's always that just venerable third guard, the first dude off the bench that can balance that out. I don't know what his offseason plan is going to be. Because I believe he's a free agent. I would love for Memphis to get Chris Paul.
He said he done.
Has he said he's done? Done?
Said he done. Unless I was reading some satire, but Chris said he. Yeah.
If Chris Paul's
First
done,
out.
but they need to find that dude for Ja. It needs to
Well,
be.
they thought they did.
That was D Rose.
D
That was
Rose.
last year with D Rose.
But I kind of felt like D Rose kind of went there. Like, I mean, not that D Rose is a bad guy, but from what I read a quote that he wasn't like, I'm not here to babysit.
He did say that.
He said it. He's when he, like people look at at what he said because somebody asked him a question. We talking about D Rose. So somebody's probably like said it in a way like, no, I'm not here to babysit him. I'm here to help
I'm here
him.
to help him. Right.
Because
he gonna be a real one. He gonna be a real one about it. You know what I'm saying?
Because John Morant went back and said like D Rose taught me how to be a man.
Yep. He did.
So it was more D Rose saying like, I'm not babysitting this dude. I'm gonna help this dude. I'm not babysitting him.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of those deals where it was like a question was asked, and D Rose, come on, Ronnie, we from Chicago. D Rose probably like,
Yeah.
babysitting him, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They try to put his job. The media try to ask him a question to try to make it a
But you know what,
job,
though,
and
too?
it wasn't like that.
We
Yeah.
talked about Denver earlier in the show and about what they lost. And Ham has spoke on this on his page a couple of times. When you lose Kyle Andersons, Steven Adams, DeAnthony Melton, you lose those guys who can kind of stabilize this young group, and you don't replace. And now it is a Gigi Jackson at age 20. It's Jalen Wells at 22, 23. It's a bunch of young guys trying to figure it out with a young coach in Taylor Jenkins. And I think
It's a tough recipe, man.
that's tough. It's really tough to do, especially for a team that was right there. That was 2 years ago was what, the 2 seed?
Well,
2 years ago?
that crew that you mentioned broke down after 2022 because we didn't come back with Milt and Kyle, and they didn't come back after that because we went to that Lakers series in the first round of next year, and then you didn't have Steven Adams. Xavier Tillman was guarding LeBron.
Hey, now they started breaking
spots.
Hey, they started breaking down when they lost Dylan Brooks for nothing. When I told them they should flip him.
Yeah, that too.
That could have got some good value off that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, sell him high. I'm like, he could help a team, but he's gonna clash with Memphis.
I still got that post too because I was like, that's one of the classic examples of. And you gave a viable answer. The answer was go get Gary Trent.
Yeah.
Who ain't gonna do too much. He got the Bucks single season record for threes this year. He finished with that.
Gary do just what he said he gonna do.
He gonna be in your way with the perfect solution. You know what I'm saying? But then, especially when you in the smallest of the small markets, you really can't. You have no room for error to, miss on replenishing what you weren't able to keep.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta understand.
People will minimize it, but it's like Kyle Anderson was a part of how that thing got rolling in that right direction. Tyus Jones,
that's another loss.
I love Scottie Pippen Jr. though. You know what I'm saying? Because he's kind of becoming also what Tyus was doing here too. You know what I'm saying? Providing great minutes, dog defender, play good basketball. You know what I'm saying? He don't go too far either. He just go hoop. But you kind of got it back with Tyus, but it's like with Melt, you really didn't get that one back.
No,
a dude who could also guard on the perimeter, could score, points and bunches and shit. You didn't get that back. You didn't really get Kyle back because now you're ready to run Santee out of town. You know what I'm saying?
It's just small markets, small and mid markets can't afford to get rid of somebody and not get nothing in return.
And that's all. Get the return back.
Yeah, small mid markets, you can't miss on drafting, and you have to just keep hitting on draft picks because you're not going to be, you're not the most attractive place. But we're going to have that conversation this off season. So let's end it off with something like we've gone like a half an hour longer than I thought we were going to go. But y'all know how we do it, man. Conversation just be flowing, and we just go with it. So I'm gonna start with Trav. These are just playoff, just quick answers. Spurs have obviously won 5 championships.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite Spurs playoff series that was not the NBA Finals?
Let me go back. It's one of my favorites were the 14. It was the 14. No. The 13 Golden State. They played Golden State I want to say that was the semi. That was one, but that one was one, and the one they played New Orleans when Chris Paul was going on a freaking rampage.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
7 with that one. I remember that one.
Yeah. I know they get that. I think 13. They game 1 against Golden State. That's when Steph hit like 25 in the third quarter, And then it took Manu to hit a damn 3-pointer in Kent Bazemore face right in front of Mark Jackson.
Oh,
But that New Orleans one, that New Orleans game, I'm talking about, that was a slugfest. No matter, Chris Paul was unbelievable. Peja coming out of nowhere. David West, big machine chest, man. He just mid-range and he can mess out of it. Tyson Chandler catching lobs every which way. And it took Tony Parker, who don't shoot that many jump shots, he hit a 3 in the corner to win it. I think they went in 6 games. They went in 6 or 7. It was 7.
I went
Hit a
7.
corner.
I went the
Corner
full distance.
3. Don't like the best 2 series that I've seen them.
Les, D Rose fan. Favorite D Rose playoff game.
Shit, his first one.
The debut.
Sure.
Yeah.
That in his first one. I mean, he don't get no better than that. Shit, he can. And it was like I never forget too, because it was right around my birthday. And I remember I had some wings, It was before Ryan was born. It was right before Ryan was born. It was my last playoff as a single, like not having kids, basically.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, man, I had a nice spread going on. Okay. Had a nice spread going on.
That's funny. That's
like
funny as hell.
her mom was like, "It's your birthday. Like, what you want?" And did it. I was like, "I want wings. I want this. I want that. I want that." And her and her friends, they cooked. They got it together. They had a couple of the homies over, and I'm like, I'm chilling. I got a Pepsi. I got wings. I got like fries. I'm like, and like they was in there. I said, I want home fries. Like, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, and I'm telling them, I'm like, man, he cold. He cold. I'm telling you, and I'm talking the whole time, crazy. They're like, man, you ain't gonna do nothing with Rondo, Paul Pierce, man. They the champs. Woo woo. That mug started cooking. I started talking crazy. I was talking crazy the whole day. And I was like the whole game. And I was just like, and I'm just sitting there. I was like, man, we winning the chip. I was like, man, we winning the chip. I said, we winning the chip 2012. I said, we winning the chip 2012. I kept saying that. I kept saying it because like when he got drafted to the Bulls, I said, we're gonna win the chip in 4 years. We're gonna win in 2012. So, Myron, when you bring that up,
Good.
that was the year.
Yeah.
When it happened, that was the
Yeah.
I probably got, and y'all know how I go back and I
Find your post. Yeah.
like I said it on draft night, like we're gonna win the championship by 2012 with D Rose. And when it didn't happen, like when that happened, I was like, that's why that's always because I'm like, he came out in the playoffs ready to go. And that for me was what indicated that he was gonna be a big time in the playoffs was that run he had at Memphis.
Yeah.
That run he had in the last 6 games of the year when he had to turn up when it was time to make money. You know? So yeah,
I give you 2 other D Rose games.
When
2 D Rose. I give you 2. The first 2 games, 2011. The first 2 games against the Pacers. I think it was 36 and 38. It was back-to-back first 2 games. And because what I remember about the game was Tyler Hansborough, for some reason, was cooking Carlos Boozer in the pick and pop. He was cooking him. And D Rose just wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. And it was like a 36 and a 38. Spurs. The Spurs have had Like if you go back and look at like the mid 2000s,
We'd have been on both ends of the
you can call the Spurs
Oh.
boring if you want to. They have played some hellacious series. The one against the Suns. They had us one against the Suns. They had one against the Mavericks. That were just
Lakers with Fisher. Oh,
the Lakers with the Fisher shot. I give you one the Spurs had in a losing effort. That's one of the best series of recent memory. Remember in 2012 where they beat the Thunder?
beat the Thunder twice.
First 2 games of the Western Conference Final.
Got gentlemen swept after that.
Straight.
They got swept 4 straight, but every game was just back and forth. It's
That's
Westbrook.
the game. You know what? That's the game where Steven Jackson thought he was better than Manu Ginobili.
Right. That was the Steven Jackson team. That was
Hence,
the Dial. That was Boris Dial. That's
We
Ginobili.
gonna keep making enemies on this pod, Trav.
Say
Who
what?
else you want to go? You gonna keep making enemies on this pod?
no,
Who else?
I didn't do that. I mean, he said that. He said that.
He did though.
He said that. Because actually Steven Jackson was keeping the Spurs in the game, that game 6. Because he would every time they go up, he hitting a 3. He hitting a 3, hitting another 3. And that was that on that. But at the end of the day, you're not him.
Jay Ham, you said you had give me your rapid fire, your 3 favorite memories of the Grizzlies and the FedEx in the playoffs.
We involved in that too. It don't stop. It just don't freaking stop.
I'm only gonna pick. I'm gonna combine the 2011 Spurs series into one because it was some funny shit that happened in that one. Just in general. Okay, you got Game 3, which I was in the building for Game 3 and 4. That's the one where Zach iced the game with the deep 3 with the shot clock going down, and it was like 18,000 people just all in unison. Shoot!
Erupted.
And he let it ride, and it was just that explosion. Game 4 was one of the funniest memories ever. You get I think it was Ginobili that went to the cut, and Darrell Lawson came from the other side and beat the brakes off. And bang! He banged it against the glass. Juice get it in transition. DA hits the wing, fill the lane. Juice just left it up there. DA came all the way back here to get that motherfucker. As soon as DA was coming down from off the rim, Pop was at half court like this here. Time out, bro. And the funniest moment is in FedEx Forum history for me was that the 18,000 people in that chat just erupted, and they played tag team. Whoop, there it is. And the place was rocking. It felt like FedEx Forum shifted about 5 feet. That's how loud and rocking it was. Everybody, it's 18,000 folks in there, young, old, everybody. Woo, there it is. Woo, this ain't 93. This is 2011.
That's wild, bro.
It was like, and of course, Zebo a week later closing the thing out in Game 6. That's one memory in itself.
Yeah, my favorite, 2 of my favorite memories, I'm gonna go to MJ. Of the 94 feet era, nothing will ever beat me calling Ham's crib that day. Yo. Nothing will ever be funnier than that. And it's crazy. We are on the 10-year anniversary of that phone call in about 2-3 weeks.
That was Mother's Day.
Mother's Day 2015. I'll never forget. Shout out to MJ, who just let me call. This is MJ's fault, to be honest. He was a little more perceptive than I was because he picked up on the whatever 2% inflection difference. He picked up on it. You know what I mean? And then my favorite moment as a kid, it is always going to be, I tell people this, like, yeah, the 6 titles in 8 years was great. Nothing will ever beat Memorial Day 1991 when the Bulls finally beat the Pistons.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Now it was as a young fan, you know the game is still pure. You don't know about the business. You don't know nothing about none of that. You just a fan of your squad. That was the best. That was the championship to
that
me.
made Isaiah Thomas go from 6'1" to 5'5", walking out to the dressing room.
And people from Chicago know them dudes gave us the blues for years.
Scottie Pippen migraines.
Man, Duke, I've cried over 2 basketball games in life. The Scottie Pippen migraine was one of them. Boo hoo, 13 years old, cried like a baby over the Scottie Pippen migraine game. The second game, Fighting Illini, 1989, when they lost to Michigan in the Final Four. 12-year-old me cried about hard as you can cry. Two memory. MJ, I'll let you finish this off, man. A favorite playoff memory.
I'm gonna go a different route than nobody gonna expect. 2012, Game 6, Boston versus Miami.
Ooh. Yeah.
And there's a reason why I'm going this direction. Because some of you dumb fucks are going to think I don't respect LeBron. That's not the case. I love LeBron. LeBron is just in a different bracket when it comes to comparison. You compare LeBron to Magic, to Will. You compare him to those guys. You don't compare him to Jordan. They're two different people. Stop comparing them to Jordan. That's why I say it's more Curry to compare to Jordan than LeBron. So let me clarify that before y'all still start making my hot takes or my sound bites. There you go. Now, with that being said, that was the moment where Bron turned into something that we all was like, oh, uh-oh. That man took Paul Pierce to that 15 to 18-foot midi. It was no plays to being called. That man did 2 claps. You threw him the ball, and he's persistent for 37 minutes straight of giving you this work.
Giving them work.
Yeah.
It wasn't no pick and roll. It wasn't no look pass. It wasn't none of that. It was, I am about to give you all of this work. And they had no answer for it.
And you know what? And that's why I always tell people, and I'm glad you said 2012 playoffs, because I always tell people that 2012, 2013 LeBron is top 5 ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Ever. And that was the best. And I'm sorry to tell you this, and I say it, and people always think like, oh man, you Brian. Like, nah, I rock with Brian, tough. But that was the best we seen Brian ever.
Bro.
Like, that's why when people talk about, oh man, he in year this, I'm like, nah, man, y'all getting some Brian just doing it off the mind, and his body is holding up. Brian,
yes.
2012, 2013, Brian. And I didn't even watch basketball when Mike did it in 88. I just know the numbers. Like you know, I wasn't alive. I was alive, but you know, I was 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
I know that's the greatest season in NBA history. But I was alive to see 91, 92 Mike.
Mm-hmm.
91, 92, Mike, who I dubbed, that's like
91, 92.
that.
And I was like 91, 92 Mike, 2012, 13 LeBron. Ain't much better than that. I'm sorry. 2012, 13 LeBron, like that, like that's when I think the awakening of LeBron, when that moment you're talking about.
Yeah.
That
was a legacy. It was a legacy moment because they were down 3-2.
It was a beware what you wish for moment because y'all been asking for that killer since he got into the league.
And when
he showed it,
we ain't see that. We ain't seen that. Now he's had flashes of being that person, and
Yeah.
yet they came back down 3-1 against the. I got my own whatever. Yeah, they came back, but 2012, 13 LeBron in that moment right there, that kicked off something that, and I say this,
What?
like they didn't win in 14. They didn't win in 14, and it wasn't because of him.
Oh no.
They
No,
were done.
that team was just better than them.
That because you got to think that's Brown. Anytime about prime, that was really prime LeBron. LeBron was
Mhm.
7, 28. Like that's when he was like that was on a whole. He was on a whole different type of time. He was on a whole different type of time, and yeah, I remember that moment because that's when the Celtics was like that ended the Celtics right there.
Yes, yes.
That was it.
They went to
Right.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
now.
You
Oh,
know
they went
what?
to Brooklyn.
You know what, MJ? That's one of them out of body experiences that players have.
Yeah.
That was one.
Yeah. He
But
chased him out their building. He really
yes,
chased him
he
out their
did.
building.
He did.
Like he did. That's a fact.
What we seen, in my opinion, the first time I seen LeBron with an out of body experience was that damn Detroit series.
Oh,
When 29, hit 29, last 30, 32.
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? He had no idea what he was doing.
He had no idea what he was
He was 23 years old. He just out there like,
Yeah.
just out of body
You
experience.
put them
I'll
dudes
try
on
this.
his back, man.
I'll do. Yeah, what? Yeah, that was old. That because that was 07.
Yes.
23 years old. Like, oh,
Yep.
okay, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
Man, that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That 2020, but that 2012, 2013 LeBron, you got the culmination of everything. You got the pure, yeah, he guarded you. He locked you up. He scored on you with ease. He abused you. And he still made the right read, but it was more along the lines of I'm only making this right read because I want to get my team involved. It has nothing to do with you stopping me. If I
He had another game.
Keep doing this.
He had another game in that same playoff run too, where I think he went for like 41-19 in Indiana. They were down 2-1 in that one too.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was the Paul George.
Crazy in that one.
That was the Paul George, Roy Hibbert, David West, Lance Stevenson.
Dance, make it dance.
That was that team. Yeah. Yeah, those were some classes, man. Well, look, we gonna get up out of here. We didn't took enough of y'all time. We didn't cover all the bases. We'll be back in a couple weeks once we get through some rounds and get through some matchups. 94 Feet of Life at the Facebook group. Subscribe to the YouTube notifications on. Coach Les in the building. Coach MJ, Trav, Ham, Ron. Basketball for the people. Basketball for the people, by the people. Sign.